Good evening, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business. It's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And y'all know it's First Monday. Hi. So we are here and we want you to know that it's all about you. We got a special guest for you today. Mr. Mark Ward is in the house, our resident comedian and life coach. He's a very serious life coach. And so I highly recommend that you get your pens and pencils out because we're getting ready to go to work. Now, I've got my friend and co-host, Miss Francine Gregory, in the studio here today. Hi, friend. How you doing?
I am doing very well. I am over here um, in the circle so that people can join us over there on the circle. First Mondays is,
Live. We are
yep,
live here on
yeah, because it's,
YouTube and Twitter. We know that there have been some interesting developments today with Facebook and Instagram, but you know what? We will not be deterred.
and here's the thing. It's not, it wasn't Facebook's fault
Mhm.
or anything like that. Um, it is like Mark was saying, stuff has been weird all week. Everybody was down. StreamYard was affected. StreamYard was affected. My email service was affected.
Mhm.
Um, the only thing that hasn't been affected is like the on TV,
Mm-mm.
like streaming the
Live
TV.
streaming. Hmm.
Oh, that's still going.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, well, how are you still going? Because they're probably on a different set of situations than we are. The
Mm.
common people are over here, and we,
Awesome people.
you know. So it's kind of interesting.
Indeed.
Okay, so we got Mark, uh, and so we're going to officially start.
Hmm.
I'm still maneuvering stuff around. You really cannot do two things at once. People
No,
try
no,
to tell us
you
they
will be
can,
distracted.
but you
Well, I
cannot.
want everybody to know that we would love to have you come join us over here in the clubhouse or on StreamYard. So if you wanted to be in the studio and you want to be on video, let us know in the chat and we will make sure that you are accommodated.
Okay, so let's do this officially. Welcome to firstmondays.com or welcome to First Mondays. This is where it's all about you. Terry said that already. And
We'd love to hear about your business.
yes, so let me tell you a little bit about First Monday. Why First Mondays? This is an opportunity to give you, the BizChicks, the community, an opportunity to share about your business, to share about your gifts and your talents, whatever it is that makes you you.
Hmm.
And if you want to share it, we are here to, on First Mondays, you get to do that. Each first Monday, we will have a guest speaker who's going to uh, I was going to say, I was thinking about you know how they do the thing at Walmart to pump you up, but we're not going to pump you up. We're going to give you some information that will help you do better, be better in your life and or in your business. And then each after that, anyone who wants to be on to tell us whether it's on live stream or if it's on the clubhouse, you will have 1 minute to tell us about what it is that you do, who you are.
Your little 60-second commercial. Yep.
Yeah, you get a little 60-second commercial. And I wish we could get Gail in here to teach us the golden circle. But since we are here in the midst of the paradox of the meltdown of the several networks are down today,
Wow.
several. So it's not you, it's not your computer, it's not even Facebook's fault today. It's just there's this whole situation going on.
Mhm.
Um, so if you are not a part of BizChicks, we invite you to do so. Let us tell you what BizChicks is. Why BizChicks? Okay. Um, Terry and I, we when we first started BizChicks, it was because uh, we took some other classes or courses or met up with some other people who had programs and things, and they were really, really confusing, and it was really not cool, and it was very, Terry calls it convoluted, and we were like, and then they paid you and they strung you along and you kept paying, but the results weren't happening, and we were like,
They
that's it.
didn't pay us. We paid them.
We were paying them.
Yes.
So we decided that's not how business should be done. And
Mhm.
her background in diplomacy, her background in being a trainer for the state of California, my background in marketing and television production, we said, you know what, we can do this.
Okay.
And so we started BizChicks to help people take the hassle out of their hustle. That was Terry's idea, and to help them build a profitable business that's fun to run. That is why we are here. Your business should be fun to run. It
Thank
shouldn't
you.
be a hassle, and it shouldn't be hassle to get help either. So with that,
And we don't
um,
want to treat you like the crack dealer, where the first one is free, and then from then on you're tethered to us for life. No, we want you to get what you need and proceed to run a profitable business.
right.
We want you to be able to understand it. It'll be in English. You won't have to go get 3 different degrees to understand or go get an interpreter to try to figure out what we're talking about.
No, and you can always just raise your hand and say, I don't understand it, and we'll get you some understanding.
Okay.
So that is what we do, or well, that's why who we are and why we do what we do. What we do is we have workshops. We do workshops, and our workshops mainly consist of helping people maneuver around on the internet with social media, or how to get your social media up and running. We have a workshop on YouTube coming up on October 16th, and we will give you more detail about that. But we do workshops. We can help you get fit. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will help you with your common everyday things, how to use your Google Calendar, how to use Google Docs, things that you need to run your business. Somebody asked me today, well, somebody in one of the classes that we teach, Terry was like, they were like, well, how do I turn my homework in? Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
you open Google Docs, and we're going to teach. People don't know the basics. They don't know that their computer can do that. Do I have to write it all out? And how do I get it to you? Okay, we have to teach them how to use their tools.
I do believe so.
And a lot of people, you would think, well, that's just obvious. Well, it's not. There's a lot of things that are not obvious in business, like how to use your calendar.
And people use these tools every day on their job, but they use the ones that they've been trained to use. They
Right.
don't know about the other possibilities.
So we're here to help expand the possibilities to make your work week go a lot smoother, a lot easier. There are programs that you can use, and that is why we talk about that. We talk about tech on Fridays. You know, Monday through Friday we have a program for every day of the week. Mondays we're talking about our conversations, and we're getting back to our conversations with different guests on Mondays. And if you're interested in being a guest on a Monday, you need to message us. You need to be a part of the BizChicks community in order to be a guest, but you can become a guest, and you can join BizChicks by texting biz to 33777. All right. And then the other things that we do are office hours, where you can book with us one-on-one, because our workshops are group settings. And then we have also masterminds where we work on our business mindset. But those things are all available as BizChicks members. It is free to join BizChicks. We do have a paid model that we are working on, and we'll be telling you about that a little bit more in the future. But right now, BizChicks is free. The paid model will have some perks for you, but the free one, you get a bunch of perks. You get to come sit with us and be a part and come share and talk and help us help you. Okay? All right. So now we're going to get into it. Our first speaker of the afternoon, well, our first presenter of the afternoon, is Mark Ward. He is from Chicago, Illinois, and he is a life strategist. I said a life strategist. He will he helps his, I'm going to let him talk about what he does. And if you go over to our BizChick community, you can see a little bit more about him. Matter of fact, I can read his bio from over there. Thank you, Mark. He'll help. He's there to help. And he has so many insightful I was going to say conversations. He's very insightful.
Words of wisdom.
Strategies and just like, oh, I didn't think about it like that type things. And so he helps us. He does it with humor. And he does it, he helps. He's a provocateur, meaning he's going to make you think. He's a life strategist and an advisor. He helps people define success, which is what we're going to talk about today, in a measurable capacity, and working with them to create the strategies they ensure that they achieve it. I like that. If you don't know where to go or how to begin, you need to begin with Mr. Mark Ward. So without any further ado, Mr. Mark Ward, he's joining us on the Clubhouse. Hey, Mark.
Hey, thank you very much for that intro. I appreciate it.
Yes. So what have you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, one of the, we talk a lot here and on BizChicks about success, right? Because that is people's goals. And one of the questions that I'm asked the most often, of course, is what is it that inhibits people from succeeding? Success eludes many people for a variety of reasons, but two of them being that it's not clearly defined in a way that can be personally measured, and because some confuse the means with the end, and as a result are pursuing something that is not aligned with their true desire. And when I am speaking about defining success, naturally, we have those traditional business plan definitions, which include a vision for who and what you want your business to be, strategies that are based on competitive intelligence, challenges, realities in the marketplace, projected growth, financial projections, all of that stuff. And that's all very important. But we rarely touch upon what many consider the softer side of business. In fact, in Western society, it's not talked about at all, usually, which I think has everything to do with our level of achievement and how we feel about what it is that we're doing. And of course, the way that we feel affects the way that we perform. So in that regard, there are a couple of really important questions in my mind. And that is, who do you want to be? That's the question that's on my business cards. And why are you doing what you are doing? Because as many of us know, a solid why can withstand any how and any what. So in that regard, success is a product of conditioning. It's aligning thoughts, words, and actions with a clear vision. So that's what I do with people. I'm like a physical trainer, essentially. I condition people. The difference between a life strategist, in my definition, and a coach is that my approach is more directive. It's somewhat collaborative, but not as collaborative as a coach, because just like if you went to a physical trainer and you were training for the marathon, you don't sit down and have a 2-hour discussion about how you feel about doing, this many laps.
Yes.
It's like this is the approach. So the difference in my approach also is that once we have defined what it is that you are trying to attain and how it's going to be measured, which there's a little archaeological dig there, is I will tell you how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost, so that there's no, oh my God, when is this going to be over? Because it's not supposed to be a lifelong relationship. So, because that becomes a little codependent. So
Yeah.
Success is a product of conditioning. Now, that sounds a little touchy-feely to many in Western society, but listen, as an entrepreneur, it's vital that when you show up to work, all of you shows up, whether you like it or not. You are the living personification of your business. And if you're not, you need to be, because you are the greatest market differentiator of what you do, of your business. It's not simply whatever it is that you were trying to sell. Your ability to show up whole, healthy, complete, and clear about your vision and mission, that is everything. And also that your entire life is incorporated into that vision. People talk about work-life balance, which is a huge misnomer and a form of self-sabotage that I tell people, don't talk about that. It's BS. There's no such thing. What does that actually mean? Who has an equal amount of time at work as they do at home? What it is about is harmony. Are all pieces working together to create the life that you want? That's not all things equal. It just means that all things are working together to create that which you desire. So it sounds like a lot, and it is, but we don't have to digest the entire pizza. So what I like to do is, take a meal size approach and bring it down to the micro level. So if we take some questions and incorporate it into our daily discipline, that means if this becomes part of what you do every day, I'm telling you, this will change your life. And it's this question of, who do you want to be? Who are you? And who you are and how you show up has everything to do with your success, because you cannot separate the actions from the actor. So these questions that I'm about to give you, answered in writing on a daily basis, these will transform your life. And what I always recommend, if people are going to do this, that you do it by hand. As much as we love to type things, there's a different energy involved in putting pen to paper. And so these are the questions. And they're going to sound really touchy-feely, but trust me. The first one is, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to take it by the day. Because what overwhelms a lot of people is they are looking at the whole world, the whole big picture, and that becomes too much for a lot of people. And this process will even work if you're not clear about what it is you're trying to do. You do this, you'll come out on the other side clearer. It'll come to you, because this is a daily process. So the first question is, who am I today? And the way that you answer this question is, what is the adjective that best describes who I want to be? So it's I am, and whatever the adjective and or adjectives are. For example, I am disciplined. I am patient. I am compassionate. Whatever it is for you, you are ordering from the menu for that day. Second question, what is the evidence of success? In other words, how at the end of the day will I measure my success in that regard? How am I going to evaluate whether I did it or not? Because, and the reason why this is important is because so many people will say, well, that was a bad day. Well, a day is formless, right? A day is neither good nor bad. A day is what the day is. But if we don't frame the day to be something, then it's very easy to sit back and say, well, that didn't work out when you didn't intend for it to work a certain way to begin with. So it's about setting yourself up for success by defining exactly what it is that you want it to be. So you define, who am I today? What is the evidence of success in that regard? How am I going to measure it at the end of the day? Does something have to happen? Is it a certain feeling? How will I know? Next question. What are the challenges and obstacles that I see? Because right now in the morning where I'm sitting, when I'm doing this, I have a certain idea that, let's say that I am patient. Well, what are the things on the to-do list or that often happen that trigger my impatience? So what are those challenges and obstacles that I can see right now as possibilities? Final question for the morning. How will I overcome them? So these are the challenges that I think might show up. So let me decide right now, when they visit me, how am I going to overcome them? So what we're doing is we're just creating a level of hyper consciousness. And the reason why this is important, which you would see over the long term, is you begin to see a relationship between what you intend and how the universe responds, and how things that historically seem to be adversarial forces are actually opportunities to lift you up to that which you have wanted to be. So at the end of the day, there are also some questions, because it's important for you to check in before you go to bed. And that is, how did I do? And I use a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the most effective. How will I rate myself as far as how I did? What was the best thing that happened to me today? What could I have done to have been even more effective? What is my vision for tomorrow? And how will I incorporate what I could have done to have been even more effective today into tomorrow? And this begins the conditioning process. And at the beginning, it is a little labor intensive because you're not accustomed to doing it. Mm-hmm. But once it becomes a methodology that you utilize, it becomes a way of being. It becomes very quick. You still write everything down so that you have an anchor, but it's much more rapid. It doesn't require quite so much torment.
Good. Continue.
So this is really the beginning of learning how to condition yourself for success.
I like this. Okay, people, if you wanted a recipe for success and how to achieve it, I think we're on the right road. Hey, Dr. Tachi, thank you for joining us over in the clubhouse as well.
One other thing that I just want to mention,
okay,
that's separate and apart from this, but I said that there were two things,
okay,
that generally prevent people from succeeding fully. One is what I just spoke about, not having a measurable means of success, what success means to them today. And the other is confusing means with the end. And this is something that is, I can sort of bring it up to provoke thought, but this is a lot of what I have to do with people one-on-one, where it becomes an archaeological dig. Because what we do as people, because we are tempered often by fear or whatever story that we're carrying about ourselves, is that we will, to keep ourselves safe, make the means the goal instead of the end, because we are afraid to own that big end goal because it seems too big or we are too unworthy. Let me give you a small example. I had a lady who came to me who she stated that one of her objectives in working with me was to find the best MBA program. That's not her goal. That's the means. The goal, once you dig under the surface, is what she believes that MBA is going to provide her. And there's nothing wrong, of course, and it's due diligence to look at the best business school for what you want. That's all great. But why would you shut the door on other avenues of getting that goal if it can be attained in ways other than with that MBA? So you're actually sabotaging yourself right out of the gate, by confusing the means with the end. So a lot of times it really comes down to being able to dig to, what do I want? What do I want? What do I really want? Not what do I think I can have. One of the first exercises that I do with clients when we have an ongoing relationship, if it's not a just in time, oh my God, I'm stuck, is I have them write the perfect day. And it's just pen to paper, at least 3 pages without lifting the pen, stream of consciousness, the perfect day from the time they get up to the time they go to bed, as detailed as possible. Reality aside, it's just whatever your dream is, because not only are there some truth bombs in there underneath the surface that are important for me, but also it begins the flow. Because you got to crack the door open. Because there's a lot of layers of stuff that we put in between us and our deepest desires out of fear.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's just this is a very 30,000 feet kind of overview, because I really have to get into it individually with people generally.
Wow.
But are there any questions?
Look, I think I need to book an appointment.
Okay. How can we find you, Mark?
Right. So Dr. Tachi's in the house too. Mark, you've given us some eye-opening, actually throw water in our face, cold water in our face information. I see a lot of people trying to find the success without doing these things, without sitting down and trying to figure this stuff out. They run for what others say is success.
And it's not that people cannot be successful that way. It's just that even if you are tempering your success by not to bring all of you to the table. Be connected. So,
Yep.
You do what you do.
Wow. Wow. Luana, did you have a question, or you?
That is a lot of information, some good information, but it's a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
That's why he told us it was the 30,000 foot.
And that's it. He told us to write it down.
Right. And writing it by hand, I like that too, because you do, it's a different flow when you write by hand.
It is, and you remember it longer.
Than you do by typing it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dr. Tachi, did you want to weigh in on something or have a question? I am. There we go. Woo. So, Mark,
Mark got us thinking today.
I was just wondering, how I know how to get in touch with you. Have you seen an increase in the people coming to work with you during this time? Because I think this whole COVID and other stuff has caused people to reevaluate and think about things a little differently.
And reach out for help.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, yeah.
Mark?
I have not, but I will take ownership of that. And that I kind of, during the pandemic, just said, you know what? I'm personally, I'm just going to let go of everything for a little bit and not focus too much on trying to generate additional business that I want to do that for. And so, I'm just going to step back a little bit and decide how I want the next chapter to be myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that listen, there's never a time when people are not in need. I do know this. And the way that I can tell, and I've told this story many times, but whenever I am feeling like, I can't do this anymore, that comes up a lot over the course of all these years, is what I would always do is go down to the Loop here in Chicago in the morning when people are headed into work, and you see the people on the trains or walking into work, and it's like the walking wounded. I mean, the grimace on people's faces as if they're marching into the camps, and in some cases they almost are, is depressing to me. And I think that so many people have surrendered to this idea of that's just the way it is. And it's because of that surrender that it perpetuates the way that it is. And I do think some shifts are occurring as a result of people being forced to be at home in the pandemic, that people who have the luxury of being able to do it are able to say, wait a minute. This is not the way I want it to be anymore. So I think that's a positive outcome of the pandemic. Honestly, we'll see what happens. But, so many employers now, as you know, are complaining about not having enough people to work. Well, why is that?
They woke up. People are like, hey, I really don't wait.
I don't have to play the game this way. There's more rules. I found some new rules, some new tools, and I can play it differently.
Right. And we also have Ann over in the clubhouse. Welcome, Ann. And so Mark, thank you. I like I said, this was very, very insightful, and I'm glad we revisited having speakers come on the first Monday. I am going to take what you said and start doing this first thing about who am I today. And
if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me. You can find me at Ask Mark Ward pretty much everywhere.
Right.
That's the page that it's under, the name that it's under. And my company is New Design, spelled like nude sign. And that's at newdesign.com. But if you just go to askmarkward.com, it'll take you there too.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. And you can also message him in the BizChicks community. If you are a part of the community, you can message him over there. This was really, really good information. Who am I? And the adjectives that describe me. What is the evidence of success for me? What are the challenges and obstacles? I was like, oh, wow.
Do we have time? Can I give you a story as to how this came to life?
Yes, you have time, and yes, we'd love to hear the stories.
And I've told this story to you, I believe, before, but for anybody who hasn't heard it, I'm like the old man in the rocking chair. I like to repeat myself at least 25 times. I started this process in journaling where I just decided to declare an affirmation one day and said, today I am patient, because historically that's not the case. So I thought, let me reach. So that day I went out and I went to Office Depot, I believe it was, to buy a phone. And I needed some help. And so I asked out at the desk if somebody could help me. Mm-hmm. And it was a long time. Like, I was waiting up there for about 10 minutes. Nobody had come. And I was, I sighing, getting a little restless in the feet. Completely forgot about what I wrote. And I got some help. And when I was at the register checking out, the person from the desk came over to the cashier and said, give him 10% off for being so patient. Mm-hmm. Ding, ding, ding. The bells went off in my head, and I realized that the only way that you can be that which you want to be is for that which is not that to show up. Mm. So the only way that I could become patient, because the goal is to become it, not to be constantly exercising it, is to be presented with circumstances that ordinarily would trigger my impatience. So this is the way the world works. If we are conscious of it, it's just like lifting weights. If your goal is to be strong, the way that you build is through. So when you the relationship between who you consciously decide that you want to be and the circumstances that show up in your life, you sort of learn the laws of the universe, in that those things that showing up are an answer. It is a response to that which you have asked. It in the past would have seemed like, well, this is a bad day. Why is that happening to me? But it's quite the contrary. One of the things that I use as an example also that makes me laugh is I had a client who I just talked to once a week. And so that was the question for the next week for her is, who do you want to be? And she said, I am loving. Well, this made me laugh quietly, not to her face, because I thought, oh, she is asking for it. And so sure enough, when we checked in the following week, every child of God cleverly disguised as an a-hole showed up in her world that week. And so I said, let's look again at how you were going to define success in regards to what loving is. Because, listen, anybody can be loving if nothing happens. Like, right? If you're in your house and you never meet anybody or connect with anybody, the real muscle is exercised when you're faced with that which historically would trigger anything but that. That's the opportunity right there. Mm-hmm. That is the response to your request. So it is the truth of be careful what you ask for, but it also shows you that everything in the universe is conspiring together to see that you succeed, but you got to do your part.
Nicely. I love that story. If you ask for it, you're going to be, the test is coming for that. That's like the test at school. Okay. You study.
Well, it's the opportunity.
The opportunity.
Because there's no failing really. It's the opportunity.
The opportunity to put into practice what you said you wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, yeah, that is why Mark Ward is a provocateur, because you're now thinking differently. Mm-hmm. And it's true. All of the things, if you say you want to be a better manager of your money, you're going to get an opportunity to manage it, or you can, you're going to get tempted to maybe spend it on something else or do something else that you shouldn't be doing with it. But then you win when you do what you're supposed to do with it. This, Mark, these are little nuggets here that have shown up, and we haven't really identified with, we don't embrace that. Like you said, to be loving means you're going to get challenged by some unlovely people. Are you still going to be?
One of the things about people in Western society is we have fallen into this trap, I believe, especially in the United States, where we equate success with exhaustion.
Mm.
In other words, if I'm really busy, then I must be doing something right. And my question is always, what are you busy about? Because there's a lot of people out there who are like hamsters on that wheel. You know, they are feverishly moving those legs, but they're going nowhere.
Wow. Man, Mark, this will be on the BizChicks podcast. I'm revamping it, and this will be the first conversation and the first audio that is going back on the podcast. It'll be uploaded later today. This was good. This was really good. Defining success, and with Mark Ward, life strategist and advisor, provocateur. I've learned some things here. And I think the main thing for me is slowing down and writing these things out every day. What does success look like for me? What are my challenges and obstacles? How will I overcome them? How did I do today? What went well?
And what can we improve on this?
Right. Because sometimes we don't see the win.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that. You know how we overlook the wins? You know?
What did I do well today? What could I?
Well, one of the reasons that, and I know we've talked about this in the past as well, one of the reasons that I require my clients to do a gratitude journal, like it or not, if they want to work with me, they got to do what I ask, is for that very reason, because we are so focused on what is not, often miss what is. So if success is knocking at your door, if opportunity is at your feet, you won't see it because you're too busy looking at all the things that aren't going your way. So you have to, part of the conditioning process is also shifting your vision from what is not to what is, which for Americans, well, I think this is true worldwide, but especially for Americans, this takes work. This takes intentionality in your approach, because capitalism as a system is all based on what is not, because we are constantly being fed messages of, if you had this, then you'd be complete. So we're receiving those messages all the time. So you really have to be conscious in order to shift it so that you are embracing all of the gifts that are continuing to funnel your way. And when you do that, because that which you focus on, you receive more of, guess what? More good things start flowing your way.
Wow. Anybody else want to comment on what you've heard so far?
Well, I do agree with him about the gratitude journal. If you don't note the good things that happen, you're constantly going to be dwelling on the negatives, and sometimes those negatives can take control. In fact, I wrote in my book, I was so busy paying attention to all the negatives that I was missing the opportunities that were knocking at the door. And that happens to many people. We're so busy thinking about the things we don't have.
Or didn't do.
Wow.
And for me, it took a year and a half for me to shift this, because my expertise in organizations was finding gaps. That's what I was hired to do. Let me find what is ineffective, what is unproductive, what is So the gift is often the shadow. So as much as it was a gift professionally, it was a bit of a curse personally, because it became part of who I was all the time. So I was always looking at what was missing. So I had to recondition myself in that regard. to get to the place where I had a different mindset, and so the scales would fall from my eyes and I had a different vision.
Wow. Thank you, Mark. Dr. Tachi, you want to weigh in? And this was good.
I just think this was amazing. I don't have anything to say.
You too. I'm just like,
no. I mean, there's nothing to add to this. Mark is just. Thank you, Mark. This was great.
Yeah,
it was really an eye opener. Thank you.
We're going into fall. This is back to school and all of that. I think this is a good place for us to revisit, look at. Redefine what success is for us by sitting down and doing this exercise with pen and paper. What can we say? All right, Mark, thank you for stepping in and sharing with us today on First Mondays. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And let me just say before I go, for anyone who is interested, I'll be coming out with more details next month. But one of the things I'm reinstating that I did for many years is called New Resolutions. And basically, I will sit down with you one-on-one for 60 to 90 minutes. It's usually a 90-minute process. And go through the 10 areas of your life. And we will define what your goals are in each of those areas and how they will be measured, and begin the process of a strategy to implement progress so that they're not just more empty New Year's resolutions, which we all love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think I might take you up on that one. Thank you. And you don't have to leave us, because we're going to have the people in the room here on live and on Clubhouse. Now is your opportunity for your 60-second introduction. So Dr. Tachi, you want to start it off and tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can find you?
Sure. I'm Dr. Tachi. I am a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. You can watch Mediascope every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Listen on WJMSradio.com, or if you're in the Bahamas, on Thursdays, listen on Gospel 107.1 FM. I'm also one half of the TV Twins on TV channeling, and we do TV reviews and talk TV, film, and entertainment news every single platform for podcasts.
Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Let's see, Luana.
Hey, Miss Lady.
How you doing, beautiful? All is well?
All is fabulous. Despite the fact that I've been up all night.
Okay.
So tell us who you are and what you do and how we can find you.
Well, I'm Luana Parker. I am a journal coach. And if you are looking to, if you want to declutter the emotional stuff that's stuck up in your head, I'm the person you need to talk to, because I help teach you how to start writing a journal, how to take all that stuff out of your head, put it on paper, and either do it by pencil or on the computer, because some people still prefer the computer. But the idea is to get you to get it out of your head so that you can either create a legacy, or maybe even that book that you've been dreaming of writing.
Okay. And where can we find you?
I will put my contact information in the chat box. You can reach me at, I also have my blog in there too. You can check me out on my blog, but my landing page is not ready yet, so I can't give you an actual place where you can go and click a button. But you can email me, you can call me, or you can go over to my blog.
Okay. All right. And we'll put it out there for you. Thank you.
You have been busy, Dr. Parker.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to put
I have
this
been
over.
busy.
Okay, you can reach her at Lawana Speaks. Lawana at lawanaspeaks.com is her email. And that's LAWANNA at lawanaspeaks.com. Okay, let's see. Miss Cheryl, do you want to tell us who you are and what you do? Oh, she did say she couldn't join in. And if Ann or Sandy or Jasmine, if you want to tell us who you are, what you do, and where we can find you, please raise your hand. Thank you, Sandy. All right, Sandy in the clubhouse.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for bringing me up. Okay, so my name is Sandy. I am a mom of 3, and I am a social worker turned to a whole full-time working at home mom where I make hair bonnets. I sew them myself because they bring me so much joy. I decided to stay home with my kids because we get relocated a lot, and I thought that would be best for me and the kids to, for me to be here with them instead of just going back to work. I miss going back to work, but I found love and joy into what I'm doing now. You can find me at Sew Some Sew on Instagram or Facebook, or you can visit my website, sewsomesew.com. I am all about empowering women, especially stay-at-home mom, and I'm all into encouraging women to go for their dreams. I just had a birthday, and I finally decided to start living for myself, and I wanted to share that, and you guys can do that too, because it's never too late to start living your life.
Okay, so in the back channel, Sandy, if you can put your information in that back channel in the clubhouse, I will
share it
make
out.
sure that we can get it out to the audience that's on the live as well.
And let me just correct the pronunciation of her name. It's Sandy.
Sandy. I see it now. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Sandy. Sandlie. Sandy. Okay. So if
Thank you, Dr. Tachi.
Yes, please put that in the chat for me, or in the back on the back channel, so that I can share that out. All righty then. If there are no other individuals who'd like to share what it is that they do and who they are, and we got a visitor here. Let's see. I'm looking. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Is this Kevin? Kevin, let's see who you are. Hi, Kevin.
William.
How are you doing, Kevin Williams?
Mark and I know Kevin very well.
Oh, we got some more jokes up in here because we got a club laugh track. Is that like jokes and funny?
Kevin, come up and explain what club laugh track is, please.
Yes, please. Oh, do I need to? Okay, invite. Okay. You can tell that I'm pushing buttons here. Okay, Kevin, you're in.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin. How you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing great. Yes, I know Tashi because we're co-hosts of a podcast called TV Channeling. And Club Laugh Track is a new club that I started here on the platform where all of the content is about making people laugh and, getting people to have a good time. So that's why I call it Club Laugh Track.
Wow. That's so necessary. I was trying to find some comedy. Now, it's clean comedy or sort of clean, or how?
Yeah. Actually, all the things I do, I try to keep clean. I'm not opposed to innuendos, though.
Okay.
But I have a game show. In fact, we'll be doing it tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, called Twinning, where a panel of comedians tried to match with a couple of contestants from the audience. And it's always a really good time. So that's basically the kind of stuff that we do in Club Laugh Track.
Oh, I'm on
all it's about connecting with people. It's all about laughter and having a good time and getting to know each other.
I like that because I'm always looking for clean comedy or comedy. You know, I just like funny. So
well, I think Tachi will vouch for me. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so we got two comedians in the house now. We got Mark and Kevin. So follow Mark over there, and we'll put Mark's info over here on the live as well. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, and let me just say also, for those who have not checked, on my Ask Mark Ward Facebook page, as well as my Twitter, there's a lot of resources in regards to, you know, questions that really do invite you to go deeper. And, you know, I do a blog every day. So the blog pieces, because my whole thing is, you know, it's not that I'm the great teacher. It's that I have learned the questions to ask to evoke the wisdom that you have, because you are the one with the answers. But sometimes you just need to get out of your way. So if you're not, please follow me, Ask Mark Ward, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Thank you. And just so you all know, nothing was wrong with you. Facebook was down. They have a major outage right now.
Well, actually, they're back up.
Okay.
I was just on there before I came over here.
Okay, so somebody said they're back. Okay, but it was down earlier today, and
I know.
Before we started,
thought I'd miss Facebook.
Okay. And this is the reason why we tell you don't have all your stuff over there in that one little basket.
Yep.
Because if it goes south, because they're juggling a lot of, like Dr. Tachi will tell you, the master of none.
Right. That's right.
And if you're trying to carry all that, you're going to drop something. I don't think it was their fault this time, but they had a lot of balls in the air that they're juggling, where the rest of everybody else only had one thing in the air, so that when the system came back, the people who had one ball in the air were okay. But when you have several balls in the air, you're still going to drop stuff, and it took them a little longer to recover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the whole internet was squirrely today.
Yeah.
So. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us today on First Mondays. We'll be doing this again. Again, if you are not a part of the BizChicks community, we invite you to do so. Just text BIZ to 33777. Join our community over there. We're expanding our community so that we can engage with you a little bit better. And we want to bring you in as an opportunity to share. We're going to have Dr. Tachi sharing. Maybe Cheryl will talk to us about how to get your books and things out. And whatever your expertise is, we need to hear from you. So we'd love for you to be a part of the community so that we can put you on stage, give you 15, 20, 30 minutes to help us help someone else. Thank you again. We look forward to connecting with you. What else? Tomorrow is Tuesday. TJ from New York City will be helping us with social media social media and digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach Karen will be on Wednesday. Wednesday, Coach Karen. Thursday, we'll be talking happy, healthy habits for your mind and body. And then Friday, we'll be talking tech, where Dr. Tachi will be bringing us media news. You can find Dr. Tachi on Wednesdays for Media Scope. And I'm going to go listen to some comedy at 6 o'clock in about an hour my time. All right. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, everyone. We want to remind you to go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you tomorrow for BizChicks at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody in Clubhouse.
One on Clubhouse, and those of you watching live, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.